This time I will be making a 5-petal flower with beautiful loop stitch center. The petals are worked of garter stitch. For work you need 2 different color yarns, a pair of knitting needles and a tapestry needle. To begin, cast on 9 stitches. First, make a slip knot. This is our first cast on stitch. And make 8 more stitches using the cable cast on method. We need to have 9 stitches on the main needle to begin knitting. This is the last stitch. Here on my needle I have 9 stitches. Begin knitting the first row. Knit the first edge stitch, then knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and purl the last edge stitch. Now turn the work and begin knitting row 2. Slip the edge stitch purlwise. For the garter stitch, knit edge stitch on the right and on the wrong sides. So continue. Knit edge stitch till the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and purl the last stitch for the edge. Turn, work row 3 on the right side. Slip the edge stitch purlwise, then knit 2 stitches together. Then continue, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 2 loops on the main needle. Continue, knit 1 back and front increase. For this, knit into the back leg. Do not drop the stitch from the main needle. And knit the same stitch 1 more time into the front leg. Increase is made. Now purl the last stitch to complete the row. Turn the work and begin row 4. This is the wrong side. Slip the first stitch, then knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and purl the last stitch. Keep knitting in this pattern for the next 8 rows. Turn the work, row 5, slip the first stitch, then knit 2 together. Continue, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then knit the next stitch twice. First knit into the back leg, then knit into the front leg of the same stitch. Increase is made and purl the last stitch. Turn to the wrong side, work row 6. Slip the first stitch, knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and purl the last edge stitch. Turn the work, row 7, repeat the same, slip the edge stitch purlwise, then knit 2 together. Continue, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then knit 1 back and front increase. And purl the last stitch. Now turn to the wrong, row 8, slip the first stitch, knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and purl the last stitch. For the edge, slip the first and purl the last stitch of every row. Row 9, right side, slip the first stitch, then knit 2 together. continue, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then knit 1 back and front, increase, and purl the last stitch. Turn, row 10, wrong side, slip the H stitch purlwise, knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and purl the H stitch on the end of the row. Turn the work and begin knitting row 11, right side, slip the first stitch, then knit 2 together, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Continue, knit 1 back and front, increase, and purl the last stitch. Turn to the wrong side, row 12, slip the first stitch, then knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and purl the last stitch. The first petal is almost ready. To complete the petal, we need to bind off all of the stitches. I'm working on the right side with the decrease bind off method by knitting 2 together. Working this way till 1 loop remains. This 1 loop, hold on the main needle. Our first petal is ready. This is its right side, and this is the wrong side. For our flower, we need to make 4 more such petals following the same instructions. To begin the second petal, we need to have 9 stitches on the main needle. I have 1. Now cast on 8 more stitches using the cable cast on method. Once you have 9 stitches, begin knitting the first row. Knit the first H stitch, then knit 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and purl the last stitch. Turn and work row 2. Slip the first stitch, then knit 7, and purl the last stitch. We begin knitting the second petal. Keep knitting following the same pattern as for the first one, and complete this second petal and knit 3 more. Here I'm about to complete the last 5th petal. I am binding off the stitches by knitting 2 together. I'm working on the right side. Work until you have 1 loop on the needle. Here, the last petal is ready. Now cut the yarn, leaving the tail about 20 centimeters long for finishing, and pull this last loop all the way through the stitch. Here are our 5 petals. Continue working with the tapestry needle to form the flower. Here I thread the yarn tail into the yarn needle. Now work on the right side. Here is the bind off row of our last petal. Now continue on its left side here. With the tapestry needle, pick up each edge stitch like this, taking 2 loops of each stitch, and then pull the yarn through. Working this way all the way till the end of this petal, then continue picking up the edge stitches of the next petals. Go through each edge stitch on the left of each petal. Make sure that this row of petals is not twisted. And work all the way till the last edge stitch of the last petal. Once you reach the end of the last petal, pull the yarn tightly to form the center part of the flower. Then straight up all petals like this. And now we need to join the first and the last petals together to create a flower. Here in the center we should leave some space for the long loop decorative center part. I will be knitting this part in a while. Now sew the last and the first petals together by making a couple of stitches closer to the center. 1 and 2 secure. Do another stitch. And 2. Here we've got a 5-petal flower which is not ready yet. Right now I'll show you how to knit the long loop stitch center. To do this, cast on 15 stitches using the regular long tail cast on method. I'm casting on working with 2 needles and I choose purple yarn for the center. Once you have 15 stitches, take off one of the needles and begin knitting the first row of long loop stitch. Slip the first stitch purlwise, and then to knit the loop stitch, knit the next stitch into the back leg, insert the needle into the back leg and pull up a loop through. Do not drop the stitch of the main needle. Now to make a long loop, pass the working yarn in between the needles from the back to the front, wrap it around the thumb creating a loop, and then again bring it in between the needles to the back. Here in front we've created a loop. Continue knitting. Knit the same stitch on the main needle one more time. Knit into the back leg and slip it off the main needle. Now to continue, slide 2 loops on the working needle back onto the main one and pull the second loop through the first one like this. Here you can see on the front we've created a long loop. Let's repeat. Knit the next stitch into the back leg but stop right before dropping the loop from the main needle. Then create a loop in the front, bring the working yarn from the back to the front, then wrap it around the thumb and bring it to the back. Here you can make your loops longer or shorter, it's up to you. Continue, knit the same stitch into the back leg one more time, and then bring the second loop on the working needle over the first one and off the needle to avoid increasing stitch count. Now repeat again, knit the next stitch into the back leg, but do not drop the loop from the main needle, then make a long loop. Continue knitting, knit the same stitch into the back leg one more time, and then pass the second loop on the working needle over the first one and off the needle, and continue. Keep creating long loops all the way till the end of this row. Here I'm about to complete this row, purl the H stitch on the end. Now turn the work and begin knitting the second row. Slip the first stitch purlwise, then purl H stitch across the row. Purl the last H stitch as well. Now turn the work to the right and bind off all of the stitches. I'll be working using the decrease bind off method by knitting 3 together. Knit 3 together, then slide the loop back onto the main needle and repeat again. Knit 3 together and slide the loop back. Continue and work in this way till the end of this row. And the last 3 stitches, knit them together. Now cut the yarn, leaving the tail about 20 centimeters long. Pull this last loop all the way through the stitch to continue working with the tapestry needle. Then we would need to make a roll like this, and then sew this roll of long loops to the center of our flower. Here is my center part. Now we can apply it to the flower like this. I thread the yarn tail into the yarn needle. Let's attach this row of long loops to the center. For this, pass the yarn tail through the center to the back of the flower. And then here on the back, sew the center part to the flower. Here with the needle, you need to work all the way through the center roll. Make sure you go through all layers, so in this way we will fix the center roll in its position. Here I'll do a couple of stitches just to attach the petals to the center. And as you can see, our beautiful flower is ready. In this tutorial, we made this garter stitch 5-petal flower. The center for this flower is made of long loops knitted separately. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more free tutorials.